Okay, so you've opened up this folder and you're ready to get started. You know what images you want to download. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and download them and get started. So I'm going to start with downloading this image here. So I'm just going to control click or right click and then go download. And that's going to download it in the bottom of my Chrome tab here. I'm going to find another image, control click, download. And then I'm going to find another image. So control click and download. And once I've downloaded them down here to my Chrome, I'm just going to drag these over to my desktop. Now notice that the images that I chose are all landscape. So I didn't pick a combination of landscape and portrait, the tall and skinny ones. I only picked landscape. Let me find which image didn't download here. We'll grab this one. Should be okay. And then once I have all my images on my desktop, it's now to get started in our image in Photoshop. So you need to pick which one you want to be your background. Now I want the background of this really wild sky. So what I'm going to do is just hold Control and click on the image I want to be my background. And I'm going to go Open With and then Adobe Photoshop. And that's going to add this image right here, right on top of my Photoshop file. Now, this image itself is going to be your background, and it's also your image size. So what we're going to do now is we just need to click, hold, and drag these images right on top in Photoshop. Now, they might be different sizes. That's okay. They should all be high res, so you shouldn't have a problem. Now, once I drag a file in here, I'm going to click return on my keyboard just to tell the computer I want to just put this here for now. And now my last one, click, hold, drag, and then move this right on top there. So now that I have all three of my images in here, I want to rename these for what I want them to be. So for this one, for example, if I were to hide this, maybe I want to use this one for, let's see, maybe I want to use this one for my sky. And maybe, or not my sky, but maybe I want to use the hot air balloons in this one to put in my sky. So the issue that I'm looking at with the images that I chose is I have some really cool sky, but I don't have a whole bunch of images that would work together for a middle ground, foreground, and background. If that's the case and you run into a problem where you're like, oh, I don't know which one I want to be what, that's okay. You can always go back later. Now I'm also kind of looking here and I see that this one's got some rocks, and I might just end up putting some of these rocks in my foreground. So if you want to switch these around, that's okay. All you have to do is just click, hold, and drag these around, just like you would just to relayer them. So then that way you can then just kind of reposition things at your liking. Now some of these might be a little bit different, but that's okay. Like this image doesn't take up the full window. That's okay because I can just change this later. And then I can fill up the whole thing with maybe another sky or something like that. And then once you have them organized by where you want them from your background, your sky, and then your middle layer is going to be your middle layer or middle ground. And then this top one's going to be foreground. And that way you know which one's which, then that way you don't have to worry about getting them mixed up. Again, you're going to be using your direct selection tools or your quick selection tools to then just select what parts you don't want in that image or the parts that you do want in that image, and then you can go ahead and start masking those out. So be sure that you're being thoughtful. If you need help or if you're not certain on how to do this, again, please revisit some of those earlier tutorials to get you started. I can't wait to see all of your landscapes and what you end up making.